Okay, please excuse the fan noise. A bit warm out here, and I've just got this fella going. Okay, the only way I could see to do this, we've got to clear some stuff that might suit a more of a workshop situation, or somebody's doing a lot of restorations of various radios. Let's just start very quickly because this is going to take a little while. Lots of new bagged RF connectors, and most of them are actually, pretty good brand name stuff. A lot of N types, a lot of various bits and pieces. Trying to just sort of give a bit of a view of what's in there. I remember seeing a whole lot of 10 DFB connectors too somewhere in this lot, but things like brand new antennas and stuff, but directional couple. Anyway, you get the idea. So a lot of these, you'll see in this, a lot of these plastic cases with adapters and bits and pieces in them, etc, etc. Assorted BNC TNCs, all new, sitting in there. Oh, there we go, there's some 10 DFB new connectors there. I'm going to try and do this very quickly because we're just going to put this whole lot up for auction and get rid of it all. Lots of Nava switches and bits and pieces. Obviously this came from a workshop. Lots of relays, bits and pieces of hardware, standoffs, etc. More relays. A lot of micro switches. This was a bit interesting. Some bits and pieces there, and certainly toroids and bits. Loads of crystals. All of these are just full of crystals, designated to various frequencies for Philips, I think, from memory. I can't remember now, but loads and loads and loads and loads of crystals. Some of it, like you might say, look, chuck in the bin. I don't know. It depends on what you do. I mean, some of these old ferrites and that, I mean, they're beautiful old pieces, etc, etc. But I'm not going to try and oversell any of this because it is what it is. There'll be a lot of semiconductors, but that's not the semiconductors. These are old 6 and 12 volt globes, which I believe it. So, I don't know. Loads. Just goes on and on. This is probably not the most exciting part of it. Righto, so then this company used to do a lot of service of old stereo equipment, so dual gangs, on-off switch pots and things like that. I'm sure they would use loads of those. Lots of switches, loads and loads of switches. Actually a bit of Sound 4 gear. It was a warranty agent for Sound 4, so there's a bit of stuff there, but not a lot. This is just more RF gear. These are all VHF and UHF antenna bases, etc, connectors, blah blah blah. Then we get into, very quickly, more semiconductors. There's more under there, don't worry about that. If I do this, I can show you a bit better here. You can see here a lot of NJ2955s, 2901s, etc. Pretty common garden stuff, but he's got a lot of brand new stuff in here that just goes on. And we're probably not representing it very well in this video, but what can I do? It is going out the door, and hopefully somebody could use it, because I'm not sort of doing as much service these days at all, actually. More semiconductors. Really good system the way he did this, and some of these are really getting hard to find. Some of these 2N series, etc, etc. Excuse me. Once again, same scenario here. A lot of I think this box goes the other way around. LM380s, LM 7406, a lot of 74 series, etc. Just loads goes on and on. 2N series, etc. Now, hang on, the other side. Forgot to show these. A lot of old Eddystone parts. These are seriously brand new Eddystone parts. Have a look. Come in like so, like that, and check that out, eh? If you're a bit of an old restorer of Eddystone, these are all brand new bits. So anyway, okay, I think that's sort of it on this side of the bench. I'll just sort of walk past again. Oh, sorry, there was, this one here full of semiconductors as well. As you can see, a pretty good system actually. It wasn't bad. Everything's noted what he's got on there. We should be keeping this, but I just don't have the space to keep all this. So that's really the. If anybody's thinking, hey, but you restore radios for the museum, yeah, I do, but I just can't keep this much sitting around the place. That's just too much. Anyway, okay, so now we're getting into the other side a little bit here. Oh, look, these are just, lovely, some of these cases are probably more than what, worth more than what's in them. But as you can see, just bits and pieces everywhere. Getting over to here, I'm trying to do this very quick. The concept was to make this a 10-minute video tops. And once again, semiconductors everywhere. A bit of hardware, etc., etc. These guys were Electrophone agents as well, so there's a fair bit of, you'll start seeing in this lot here, a lot of semiconductors. As you can see, these trays here, these are probably where the real money is, in the fact that these bits add up very, very fast. A lot of the, I mean, don't get me wrong, an LM723 is not exactly an expensive part, but some of these regulators for some of the electrophones and radios that are out there, and I've got enough of that, to be honest. I've got a fair bit from a mate of mine, Fred, that's helped me out with a few bits, and I'm sort of trying to not be too greedy here because it's just too much. I'll come back to this one over here in a second. Once again, more semiconductors, all labelled, trays and trays full of them. Just, I mean, there's not many of these that you won't find that, are not stacked full of stuff that he used every day. Oh, jeez. Once again, that one there. Yeah, look, there's just bits and pieces everywhere. A lot of IC sockets, a lot of diodes, etc. More transistors. My God, just goes on and on. Just to give you an idea. He didn't mind stocking a bit, sort of, no question about that. That's, I'd hate to think, I mean, like here he's got just every regulator under the sun that you'd ever need, just sitting in one section, which was, pretty clever, because as a service workshop, he could just walk up to it and go, right. Okay, so this cabinet, won't bore you with it, full of crystals for lots of different radios for different frequencies, mainly VHF, UHF, well, all VHF, UHF, Philips, Tate, etc., etc. And this is really handy for somebody that doesn't have a setup yet of all their resistor values. I already do, so I'm okay for that. So I'm sort of thinking that that might help, somebody. But of course, it doesn't help anybody unless you're willing to take the whole lot, which is, a little bit of stuff there. So we're going to put this up for auction as a one-shot deal. I'm going to start boxing it now, so anybody thinks they're going to come and inspect it, not going to happen, because I need to get it out the way here. This whole lot here, all these tables, everything needs to go. We've got more shelving coming in, and what's here, but it needs to be put together. But as you can see, no, it's quite a bit of gear. We can box it and ship it. It's probably just the parts trays that would be your major enemy with space, like size, as far as boxing. We can box it. That's not impossible, but we can't guarantee that it'll get from point A to point B. No, I just sorry. I was just going to say these linear ICs here. There was some 27C. There was a couple of ones we were going to sort of keep an eye on to keep for ourselves. So actually, for now, we may include some of those, but we'll see. Don't buy this based on those, because I remember we had a few bits and pieces there we actually could use on the various things we do here. But I think most of it will come back into this pile. I think there's only a couple of tubes that were interesting to us. All right, well, that's pretty much it. Any questions, just drop me a quick email at brenton@posnav.com.au. As I said, I've got to start boxing this up because I just don't have the room. We're getting there. It is definitely getting there. But this weekend has just sort of taught me that we've still got a bit of a way to go. For somebody that's into RF, the connectors alone are just brilliant. Just for somebody that just wants to know that they've always got a connector on hand, and the rest of it, some of it you might say bin, and that's okay. If you buy the lot and you don't want us to send, let's say, some of these older bits here, from VFOs and etc., etc. If that all just goes in the bin, just tell us what you need. Go to the video at certain points if you're the successful buyer, and just say, look, throw those away, or we don't need to ship you things that can go on the bin here. That's not a problem. But the whole essence of this video is to try and not have this stuff go on the bin. Don't get me wrong, we'd never bin all the semiconductors and all the bits that obviously will get used, but by the same token, there is a fair bit here that we just can't afford the space just to, sort of put up with. I've been through this very much over the last few minutes, not hours, so there's a lot of gems in this that, I think someone's going to be really very pleased with. I'll just give you an idea. The thing I grabbed when I said before that we have got our own resistor network set up, I'm just lacking the space for resistors to be able to have big shelves set up. So he actually had a secondary backup, which we decided this makes more sense for us just to have this lying around when we need the odd resistor, to be able to just jump in there and say, right, there it is. So that's what we've sort of done, is said that if something makes looks like it's useful to us here, that's not going to take up much space, we'll grab that. But the rest of it, no, I'll probably kill myself later about the connector side of it, because when we start getting into the antennas. But I just figured, look, I'm just going to buy new stuff when we need it, if we need it. And I know that sounds a bit crazy, but we're using mainly heliacs, so a lot of the smaller coax connectors are probably not going to be us anyway. So I'm taking a gamble and just saying, look, all the new connectors, they go on the deal, and basically whoever gets the whole lot, they can sort through it. I don't know, you might end up at one of the ham sales. People, by the way, people keep saying to me, why do you go to ham sales? Because you can put this all on display. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. That's someone else's game, younger man's game, I reckon. Somebody with a lot more energy than me. Yeah. Or just to note, all the plastic cases, like how you see it's how you get it. So we're not sort of trying to put it all into little bags and then take your plastic cases or anything like that. Pretty much, you tell me what you need, we'll ship it to you. If you can pick it up, we'll be a lot happier. By the way, this was a bit interesting. I don't really know the background of this. Astern, slow, and yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I realise it's off of a boat, but I haven't seen this before. Don't know. Anyway, that's a good example of. I'd hate to throw that in the bin if someone can use it. If the successful buyer doesn't want those, we'll give those away. That's no issue. If someone knows or has a background in maritime and says, hey, you know what, they're brand new, then we could use those on something. Yeah, of course, that's what we want to try and do. All right. Thanks very much for having a quick look at this video. How'd we go? 12 minutes 48. Yeah, righto. So much for 10 minutes. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll start boxing this up, and we'll try and do it reasonably so that semiconductors are in with semiconductors, plugs are in with plugs, sort of separate boxes. And if we think things are maybe on the more junk sort of side of it, we'll try and sort of maybe just put them into a separate box. I don't know. I mean, people may want the the various caps and that, but you may not. And there's a bit of weight, sort of in these caps. So I would suggest, think carefully if there's stuff you want us to chuck, or who we can donate it to, and you don't want it. Fantastic. Okay, thanks very much. All the best, and good luck. Not expecting $1 million for all this. I think we're going to just put a very low starting bid on it and see how it goes. 73s. All the best from VK3 Charlie Mike, Brenton, Tangambalanga, Northeast Victoria. Cheers all.